Hi and welcome. I'm super excited to have you all here. Thank you for helping us kick this off. This is divulging the present for a clear future. This is a hands-on executive dashboard webinar. We're extremely excited to have you guys here to help us kick this off. Happy New Year. Hopefully we don't have to hear that too much more as this month is wrapping up. If this is your first time joining us, hi and welcome. We're super excited to have you here at this executive dashboard webinar. And, those, I see a few that I do know that are trickling in. Hi again, and so happy to have you here. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and introduce ourselves here. So, my name is Jordan, if you don't know me already. I'm the Engagement Development Manager here at Advaya. I have 6+ years of account management experience, and I've challenged myself to lean into new emerging technology solutions as I truly, as technology is always changing. And that being said, as the engagement manager here, I try to have meaningful technology conversations that also make sense. I find myself a lot of the time speaking with a lot of our developers, and they like to talk over our heads, but I like to make it transparent and understandable for the engagements that I create with you. And that being said, I'm going to pass it off to Max.
Hi, everybody. I'm Max, an engagement associate here at Advaya Solutions. I've been part of Advaya for about 4 months now, and this will be my very first webinar. I'm really excited to be here, and I hope that you all learned something today. Swapna?
Okay, I think I was on mute. Yeah, sorry. Hi, everyone. I'm Swapna. I've been working with Advaya for about 5 years now, and I'm majorly involved in, understanding the problems and then building business intelligence solutions, and also, dealing with various customers for setting up end-to-end pipelines or analytical reports. We are here very happy to have you all here today, and we're excited to go over the executive dashboard webinar, where we can give you a lot more insights into how Power BI can help you all, to derive more insights and to your organizations eventually as well. Yeah, good morning again, and thank you.
Thank you, Swapna, and thank you, Max. So that being said, some of you might be asking, what is Advaya? So, there are a lot of technology implementation organizations, but our niche is to, make that technology implementation specific to your needs. So we focus on tailored solutions, and we want to make technology work for you. Our expertise are in multiple different technologies across the Microsoft Gambit. We're also partnered with Google and Sitecore. And if anything, we start our project and process flows with gathering as much information to support strategizing decision making. So, right here, as far as executive dashboards go, our idea here is to learn as much as possible about your organizations to help and monitor our implementation solutions that we make with you in our engagements. So, we have developed many tailored solutions for many of the partnering companies that we work with. And, we've been doing this for more than 17+ years. So, we have operations worldwide. Currently, we're in our Bellevue office where we're headquartered today. We also have an offshore team in India as well. And, we're a Microsoft Gold partner. So just do know that you are in good hands. And, that being said, we definitely want to partner with you. But in order to do that effectively, we would love to know what exactly you're trying to get out of this executive dashboard webinar. And with that said, we're going to go ahead and put out the first poll here. Looks like Jordan just sent that out. Thank you, Jordan. We do have 2 Jordans in the call here. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and talk about our agenda here for the day. So once again, thank you for helping us kick off this webinar. We're super excited, and because you joined in, we offer a 1 to 2 hour complimentary consultative meeting that we'll make sure that it fits to your specific needs, so we can help you on your data journey and your data roadmap. And please use the chat window. for any questions, and we will definitely have a Q&A portion at the end of this webinar. So we'll make sure that we get back to all of your questions and comments and concerns. And we're also recording this event as well. So you'll be issued a copy of this if you get a text or get a call or whatnot throughout it. You won't be missing anything, if you will. So that being said, Max, can you give us some insights on data?
Yeah, so let's take a breath and reflect on some numbers, facts, and predictions. We have an exponential data growth year over year. It is estimated that we are currently sitting at 64 zettabytes of data globally. And just 3 years ago, we were at 18 zettabytes. And it is predicted that we'll cross 175 zettabytes in just 3 years. I mean, think about that. 90% of the world's data was created in the last 2 years. But we haven't even realized the value of it, not even by half. There are challenges that the regulators are still struggling to resolve. Privacy guidelines are not adequate. Most of the organizations have no control on sensitive or compliance-centric data. Then there's always the uncertainty about the correctness and quality of data. Lack of validations undermine the value the data can provide to the organizations. Another interesting fact, it's not only the challenges, but it is the future. If we don't make our organizations data-centric, quite frankly, we will be left far behind. 80% of the organizations have plans to maximize their data and make it available to the decision makers in a self-service manner. And the simple solution to that was to have an executive dashboard. And part of that has to do with Microsoft Power Platform. So let's start with Power BI. This is basically an analytical tool. It helps you make sense of your data through interactive, real-time dashboards and unlock the insights needed to drive your business. Power Apps enables you to build apps that easily connect to data. It uses Excel-like expressions to add logic, and it runs on the web, iOS, and Android devices. And then Power Automate will add powerful workflow automation directly in your apps with a no-code approach that connects to hundreds of popular apps and services. And then finally, with Power Virtual Agents, you can add virtual bots to automate your service and communications. Power Platform basically enables everyone to be working together, using your data to help everyone from the CEO to the frontline workers to drive the business decisions with data and enable innovation. So in order to get into your data, let's talk a little bit about the data journey. Including the right data is as important as having any at all. Professional built reports ensure that these steps are done. So the first step is that all raw data is compiled, and then your data is reformatted and pre-processed. The third step is your data is cleaned up so you can make a little bit sense of that data. The fourth step is you have strategic data analysis. And then finally, you find the right algorithms for predictive analysis so you can validate the predictions. And as a result, you make better data-driven decisions. So let's discuss why data is important and what a data-driven organization is. First and foremost, a data-driven organization is one that understands the importance of data. It possesses a culture of using data to make all business decisions. Note that I said all. In a data-driven organization, no one comes to a meeting armed with only hunches or intuition. The person with a superior title or the largest salary doesn't win the discussion. Facts do, right? Numbers, quantitative analysis. Basically, stuff backed up by data. So Jordan, can you help us understand why becoming data-driven is so important?
Yeah, sure thing, Max. Thank you. Yeah. So, as we all know, data seems to be on everyone's lips these days. You hear it probably about 5+ times a day. People are generating data more than ever before, as Max just said for us. It doesn't matter if you're selling to other businesses or ordinary members of the general public. Perhaps the biggest change people are going to notice is that, the big data arena is really no more. Huge corporations with lots of amounts of resources, data was very important for them, but we understand now that no matter how small your company is, you're still generating a bunch of data. And because of that, how are we making sure that we're ensuring, survival and growth and success? So, why does data seem so important for companies, and what's driving the new era of innovation? Which brings us to the next slide there. So Power BI offers interactive visualizations, but you might also know that you have data, or you might need to be creative and find new sources for it. And either way, you need to eliminate silos of data while constantly seeking out new sources to inform your decision making. It's crucial to remember that when mining for data, we're looking for insights, and demanding data from different and independent sources leads to better decision making. So our goal here is to build advanced analytical models for predicting and optimizing outcomes. The most effective approach to identify a business opportunity is to determine how to model it so that we can achieve it. Many big data initiatives fail because they aren't in sync with the company's day-to-day processes and decision making. And I run into that a lot in my calls and my conversations with a lot of folks. And data professionals that I speak with must understand what decision making does for their business, and gives them the tools to make the best decisions going forward. So how can we take our data and actually paint stories with it? Well, that's the beauty of Power BI. So Power BI offers interactive visualizations and advanced analytic capabilities that empower everyone to make smarter and real-time decisions. It's one of the most popular BI tools due to its ease of interactive visualizations, which is a big plus for me. I'm very much visually concentrated all the time. It offers scalability and unifying platforms to gather, refine, analyze, and present data on premise and in the cloud as well. So, it offers a 360-degree perspective through interactive dashboards and data-rich, easy to understand reporting. And with that being said, I'm going to go to the next slide here to just talk about, the different departments. I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of different departments. I find myself talking to, a marketing director or a VP of sales, and I, ask them what programs and tools they're using, and, they'll say XYZ, and I'm asking, how are we actually tracking that data? And a lot of the times I'll hear, oh, well, marketing is tracking the data using, this specific tool. But I think what we need to realize is that all departments are, with every change and shift that they make, are creating new data points. So the question is how are we scaling that data and actually projecting growth? What is the end of day or the weekly or quarterly or year really look like? It's data that should be in all of your executives' hands, if you will. So that's the beauty of Power BI and the beauty of why we're here today. And with that being said, Max, I'll hand it back to you to help us understand more possibilities of Power BI.
Yeah, so mobile apps. You create reports in Power BI desktop. You create and view dashboards and reports in the Power BI report service. All these reports and dashboards are available in the Power BI mobile app, whether they're on premises or, as you said, or in the cloud. And you can view and interact with them on your mobile device, be it the iPad, iPhone, or iPod Touch. You can also do all of it on Android phones, tablets, and any Windows 10 device. And your phones go everywhere. And if you have the Power BI mobile app installed, then, well, it goes everywhere too. Along with viewing your Power BI reports in a special mobile layout view, you can also add Power BI to your Apple Watch and ask questions with QA Virtual Analyst. So how cool is that? On the iPad, the Power BI mobile app displays dashboards and reports in whatever layout you want it to be. Plus, you can view all your dashboards and reports right on your iPad. The Power BI mobile app for the Android phone brings Power BI to your pocket with up-to-date, touch-enabled mobile access to your business information. Power BI also runs natively on Windows, iOS, web browsers, MacBooks, and the list goes on. It runs on any Windows 10 device, including Windows 10 phones, along with many unique features of the mobile app. For example, you can pin a Power BI dashboard to the Windows 10 start screen. And data directly affects everything you do in business. So here's just a few. So what to pay employees. Salary benchmarking is something companies use on what to pay both new hires and retain current employees to ensure they are attracting and keeping the right people while being responsible with corporate funds. How to expand market. Data can help you grow your market. Amazon uses several data points on expanding their market, including when customers make purchases, how customers rate their purchases, and what customers with similar buying habits are purchasing. For inventory management, data shows companies lose 3% of customers the first time they run out of a product. It goes up to 50% the second time. The basics are to have stock availability, sales demand, and product returns. Planning actions by date and time efficiencies. A simple example of using data for time efficiencies is looking at hiring and inventory trends. Department stores prior to Christmas can analyze past data to help them decide when to hire, what to have in inventory, and how many people to hire, and how much inventory to have readily available. Many countries, companies, and people have made decisions based on hunches, which is another way of saying making decisions without facts. Oftentimes it's been disastrous. Like, do you want to stake your company's future on guesswork? And the obvious answer is no. Let me give you an example. So Motorola used to be on top in the cell phone business. You guys remember their Razr phones? Well, they waited a little too long to release the version of the smartphone, allowing iPhone and BlackBerry to become the new trend. So instead of focusing on data that customer experiences provided, they focused on the phone's aesthetics. Consequently, the company's shares fell by 90% between October 2006 and March 2009. So with that said, let me tell you what it means to run a business with actionable data. Running your business with actionable data means you're able to identify, combine, and manage multiple sources of data, build advanced analytics models for predicting and optimizing outcomes, transforms the organizations and culture of the company so that data actually produces better decisions, and that decisions are made from facts, not hunches, guesses, or intuition. And as a result, productivity, efficiency, and profitability is much easier scaled in practice. And to go a little further, Jordan, can you go and into the evolutions of analytics?
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to. So, that being said, we always start, well, we find ourselves starting with the descriptive, the ability to look back on events and see what actually happened. For example, your business might have had unexpectedly poor quarterly results. Hopefully not, but we want to see exactly what happened there. And then, we move into the diagnostic side of things where we take a step further, and that transactional data can then be analyzed to answer the questions of why did this actually happen. So we're moving from hindsight to insight is the idea. And then we find ourselves getting into the predictive. Now we're interested in mining our data to see what will actually happen. You identify the problem in the previous stage. For example, you had a supply chain problem. I think we all are feeling that every day. My Amazon packages are never coming when they're supposed to. And I have never ordered from Wayfair after hearing how my partner's been going through getting her couch. That being said, with the supply chain problems, what's resulted in a diminished inventory issue. So, you didn't have enough product to satisfy the customer demand, which is a big no-no. And then we finally move into the prescriptive, where we want to discover how we can make something happen. So, most of the executives, CXOs, and VPs and directors, we're looking for this, and I think that's why we're here today, is we understand the importance of seeing this. So, how do we stimulate sales for the next quarter, given what the data tells you about the customer and the customer's demands in different geographies compared to your distribution chain capabilities in those areas, if you will. So, Max, that being said, can you share us something pretty scary here?
Yeah, I mean, just look at the diagram shown here. I mean, what are you using for your reporting? And to be honest, guys, Excel is so 80s, right? It was a great tool for tracking data in its time, but Power BI is so much more effective in importing data from your ERP, CRM, etc. And it also provides easily identifiable, actionable insights. Power BI connects as a swift, rapid, and efficient data analytics software in today's data-driven world. Power BI Reports enables the use of business intelligence and ensures that all documents or reports are developed effectively. So yeah, it calls for a robust software tool, such as Power BI, that makes one's work much more comfortable and easy. It also saves plenty of time, enabling the best and desired results. It is a powerful business analytics tool that can visualize data from multiple sources and transform them into informative insights. The collaboration of files is also really easy and can be accessed from any platform. So here's a marketing performance report we've created here at Advaya. Marketing campaigns are more and more measurable and therefore more effective. A thorough analysis on consumer behavior also allows effective campaigns to be run at optimal costs. At Advaya, we decided to take a closer look at marketing campaigns conducted on the internet. Dashboards can become very useful when planning activities in the future and can also be used during business meetings. So real quick, I just want to do a software poll just to see to get an idea of what software everybody's currently using for their reporting purposes. I'm not sure if I can see the results here, but we'll take a look at it later. So for now, I'd like to hand it off to Swapna to just give us a little bit more insight on Power BI dashboards.
Okay, thanks, Max.
Oh yeah.
Hi everyone. So as we all discussed, reporting plays an important role in deriving insights, and a very good, well-created dashboard can help a lot of executives to derive actionable insights and then look into what best they can understand from their data, and it can be more helpful if it is well built. In similar lines, I would like to walk you through what we can do. For example, if we are looking at a project online and organizational data reports, in the sense, if we have an organization where an executive wants to monitor all the projects that are happening within the organization, building a dashboard similar to that would definitely give him or her a perspective of in entirety, on as a bird eye view of the entire projects that are happening, and then can also understand what can be improved and what are the statuses of the projects, what is the health of each of the projects, and which project manager has the distribution of projects to be higher or low. So it could also include key milestones or issues or risks based on the projects. And this is one scenario that an executive dashboard can look like. An alternative one to that could also be something related to sales and finances, where we can actually track data from field services, like tracking the work orders or technician time tracking, or also the status of how remote assistance is being monitored and everything like that. So a lot of reports like this can help executives at various levels to understand their organization better and to make better decisions in the future. Going to the next slide, a project-based dashboard doesn't have to necessarily be a bird eye view all the time. Also, it could also be like a detailed report where if somebody, some executive is trying to look at information like risks or some level of feedback on a specific report or some specific issues that they want to talk about, then definitely a detailed way of looking at every project can also be useful. So it is all about how are we developing the dashboard or a report, and how are we utilizing it for larger decisions that are made at an organizational or an executive level. Going to the next slide, I would like to walk you all through what we can do within Power BI, and a scenario of how we have built a report for a project analysis, and also financial reports, and also sales-based reports, and then give you an explanation on how we can develop a dashboard by pinning just only the required or necessary metrics that have been built in a report into a dashboard. By not confusing you further, I'll try to share my screen so that it's a lot more elaborative. So in here, let me just walk you through one of the reports, which is finance database, right? We are trying to imagine we have an executive who would like to definitely monitor a financial analysis of that specific organization. And now it could be about various services that the organization is offering. It could be business intelligence, or it could be the intranet or the managed services. And now how is the health of each of the segments, and how has the revenue and sales affected over a period of time, and sales distribution by segment, or trying to understand specific sector or a segment of the business, or how do we understand the flow of how all the different countries are performing when it comes to the services and the ROI for that specific organization. Imagine if I want to just look at Canada, then how is my data actually looking like this time? This is a bird's eye view of how we can manage, or an executive can actually look at finances. Of course, we have some of the other metrics which are pretty much self-explanatory, but this is just one way of presenting any financial report. Now, another scenario would be like project portfolio analysis. This is what we just spoke about, trying to understand how many projects do we have currently, and then how many of them have been performing well, and what is the current state of most of the projects, be it initiation, planning, execution, and everything, their financial statuses, or trying to analyze each of the projects either by a project name or by a project manager. For example, if I have to look into details by project manager based on what is the start date and finish date, to understand the distribution of projects or getting into the details, then that is also possible. So this is one way of looking at overview of all the projects that are happening within the organization. At the same time, giving focus on the financial aspect of how the outcome has been, what has been the budget spent on it, and also what is the remaining budget. So this is another example that we would like to demonstrate as a part of what Power BI is capable of doing. I would now like to walk you through how another sales or sales-based analysis report might look like. This is a specific example for an executive dashboard, or possibly very common one, where we have all the segments like sales, EBITDA, and also how has been the new product sales, and what has been their comparison over the past 1 year or 3 years. Now, imagine that we have this report already created. But for example, this is just a report in the sense we have all the detailed level of numbers and everything provided here. But what if we don't? The executive doesn't really want to have all the details. They are possibly just looking at only the sales and also how the recordable incidents are, right? Then you don't have to necessarily create a new report out of this. There is a possibility of creating a dashboard, which is just a choice of your own visuals that you can pin from a specific report that's already created. And this is one of the features of Power BI. And to do so, I can actually pin each of the visuals. If I hover over this visual, I can actually pin this visual, and then it asks me if I need to ping it to an existing dashboard or a new dashboard. For example, I say test executive dashboard, right? And then I say pin it. Then this visual gets pinned into that specific dashboard. Either we can go to that dashboard right now, or we can just complete pinning and then we can go. Now, I would also like to take the title so that it's easier, and I want to reuse it as well. It could also be the cash flow that I'm also expecting, in that report, but not any other visual, because possibly I know for a fact that my executive or the VP might not be interested in it. Now, I would be curious to know what exactly has been implemented, and I would like to know I would like to go into that dashboard and see what exactly is showing up there. If you see, of course, this is a dashboard. This is different from what we have seen before. This is a dashboard. It has a culmination of just the choice of visuals that we would like to view and see uh, on Power BI. I think we just came out of that. So let me just give that. So I'm just going back into the test executive dashboard that we have. Because I have just pinned the title, it is showing up this way. I have a choice to just not have this as well. I can just remove it. For example, I have just pulled in the sales report and also the cash flow report. Now, when we have a dashboard created, because this is a test, I just pulled in both. But the advantage of it is you can have a Q&A with the dashboard. At this point, it is not enabled because I'm not the owner of this report, but definitely I can have a natural language based questions that I can ask in Power BI and can look into what Power BI has to offer as analysis, which it can do on the fly. So Power BI is capable of doing a lot of things that way. This is just a simple representation of what its capabilities could be and how we can actually project an executive dashboard which can change or can help businesses grow. I hereby conclude by passing on this to Max, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Let me just share my screen here real quick. Okay.
Yeah, so thank you, Swapna. I really appreciate the demo there. So, if you have, a need or have any questions and you would like to ask now, please feel free to ask questions. I'd definitely like to open this up to being a little bit more interactive at this point. So yeah, if anything, like I said, my name's Jordan. We have Max on the call as well, and Swapna, who just did the demo. So any questions out there, or anything that's coming to mind?
Yes, please do share your questions. We will be happy to help you because this is a place where we would like to definitely interact and understand your needs and answer them.
And any specifics, like let's say, you're in marketing or sales or you're in finance, if there's any kind of, reports or
Nadia has a question.
Yes, please.
Yes, we have a couple people that are raising their hands. We can allow mics so people can mic in as well. But let's go ahead and answer Nadia first, and then I'll kind of tailor as we go through. So I'll queue people up, of course. So go ahead and Nadia asks, could you talk about publication levels of Power BI?
When you say publication levels, I believe you're asking about how a report developed locally can be published to PowerBI.com. Am I right, Nadia? If so, then yes, we just have one single way. We can have a local Power BI report developed, and there is a button in Power BI desktop application to kind of the moment you interact with that button, you will be able to publish it to PowerBI.com, and it will give you a choice of the workspaces that you want to publish to. So depending on which workspace or which customer you're working with or what is the need, you can choose that workspace and it will get published to that. Yes.
Great.
Yeah, hopefully that was helpful.
And you will also.
Sorry, I'm gonna queue up Romel here. Romel, you are able to unmute your mic if you would like, and go ahead and ask your question.
Okay.
Hello,
Let's
Ramel.
go to the next
Okay.
question.
While you're getting that figured out, Melvin, I'm gonna unmute or allow you to unmute your mic. Go ahead and unmute and ask your question.
So they might not have
Here
control.
we are. Yeah, I found it.
There he goes.
Sorry about the delay. No, I just wondered if Power BI, as I understand it, has the capability of anomaly detection. The reason for my question about that is if you're an internal audit like I am and you want to deploy some kind of capability around fraud detection in, say, an area like purchasing or where you're, say, pulling in a purchasing activity and you may have vendors that may be somehow related to somebody in the company, or you may have repetitive amounts of the same equal amount, some kinds of contextual patterns that can indicate presence of fraud.
One thing I can definitely give you as an answer here is in Power BI, we have a feature to kind of look at column distribution of any data. For example, you have a table of data that's pulled into Power BI, and you have an option to view how the how the entire column is being distributed. Either you can set up alerts to see if when you publish a report, you can definitely set up alerts to see if a value is beyond. So mathematically, yes, you can set up some alerts, or you can set up some filters to view if your data has any such. Power BI doesn't automatically do that, but what it can help you with is the column distribution, and maybe if there are certain numbers that you're looking at and how frequently they shouldn't be appearing, then maybe you can actually utilize that feature to detect anomalies. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, because that would be certainly something that in what I do that could be certainly useful.
Perfect. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Melvin. We got a couple more questions in the chat, and then I'll get to the other people that have raised their hands. So Scott Smith asked, should executive dashboards show more of a snapshot with drill down into trending data? Don't want to overwhelm the CXO types.
Should executive dashboard show more of a snapshot with drill down? Yes, definitely. That is also a way to do. In fact, we have bookmarks as a concept. Bookmarks will help you with snapshotting the data on the report for that specific point in time, or with the specified or with the specific selection of filters created on that report within that report, and you can actually save it as a snapshot and present it to your customer, to your executives as well. That is one of the key important features Power BI offers for executive report development as well. Yes, we can do that.
Great. Ashley asks, what visual tool in Power BI did you use for the CAPEX and ROI by country?
It should have been stacked column chart with a average, a moving average line. But I can definitely look into what specifically we have used. But from whatever I remember, it should have been a stacked column chart with a moving average line. Yeah.
Great. And Sharon asks, is there version control?
Okay, so that is something that I personally believe that Power BI lacks in a certain way, in the sense you can definitely make it possible with a lot of other options. But ideally, if you and your team member are working on a specific report, and if you both have local copies of it, there is a high chance that you publish that report, and if your team member also publishes the report under the same name, even though it is the same workspace, there is a high chance that your report can get overwritten. But one way to do that is definitely through communication, or to have versions of it like a test version or version 1 or 2 in your naming conventions, but definitely not the the standardized version control that you have, that okay, somebody is working already on it and this is not something you can use. This is funnel. I don't exactly know the name, but I can give you the name. It should be a flow chart or a Sankey based chart. I will get back to you with the exact name. It's somehow not something that I'm able to remember on top of my head. But yes, should be something like a Sankey chart where it gives you a flow of how each of them are all connected, and gives you that flow.
Great, thank you. Timothy, I have allowed you to unmute your mic if you would like to ask your question.
Yes, the project portfolio report that you guys flashed had my attention as a project controls specialist. I wonder, is your organization able to connect to the scheduling and cost applications? Say, for example, we had the schedule and cost data in a Primavera SQL server. Would you guys be able to help our organization connect Power BI directly to those that database and those specific tables to mine that data to produce such report?
Definitely, yes, we will be able to do that.
10-4. And just a little side note, the project names, what are they about? My colleagues and I are kind of laughing at those descriptions. Anyhow.
Okay. It could be just with some dummy data over there. Sorry if it didn't make sense, but definitely the idea is to just, have some sample data projected in a certain format, and then make sure that, that is something that is possible within Power BI. But yes, we'll look into that. Thanks for bringing it to our notice.
Thank you.
Yeah, good eye there. Yeah, some of those are like great toothpaste and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's just sample
it definitely
data.
grabbed your attention, so we did it.
Okay, we have Romel again. I'm gonna allow your mic. Go ahead and try to unmute yourself and ask your question. Try again. He did raise his hand again. If you aren't able to unmute your mic, you can always just add your question into the chat. Looks like we're not able to hear you, Romel.
Would someone like to talk about any specific scenarios that they're already working on, and something that's interesting that you'd like to share with us?
Any other questions? Looks like we got through everybody except for Romel. I do apologize. Looks like we had some technical difficulties. If you do want to add your question into the chat, we'd be more than happy to get to your question.
And more than likely, I'm sure after processing all this information, you'll probably have more questions that come up, and Max and I will definitely make sure that we follow up with you guys to make sure we get the answers to those questions that you might have. So thank you for making that interactive, guys. We love it when you can unmute and actually ask questions and whatnot. I'm sorry, I think I just saw another chat come in, so maybe.
Oh no, that's just that's our team.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. So yeah, with that being said, this is we do have another webinar. We're running this webinar series every third Thursday of the month. So our next one's going to be February 24th. It'll probably be Max, Swapna, and I again, and we'll be going into a little bit more on the analytics side. So we would be more than happy if you can tie into that one as well. And just if anything, thank you so much for coming to this webinar here. And is there anything else, Jordan or Max or Swapna?
Yeah, we do have one more question here. I did put up the last poll, but Dharmesh asks, can you please talk about the alerts and workflows that may be useful for executives?
Definitely. Power BI has two ways of, first of all, thank you, Dharmesh, but Power BI has two ways of actually getting some alerts on how your report is functioning, or some changes within your report. One could be about setting up some notifications of any report changes or anything like that by actually subscribing to that report. So there is an option when you publish a report that has a option called subscribe, and you can subscribe to all the changes that are happening. Or there are certain specific visuals which can give you which have an ability to set up alerts. Like, for example, you can have a gauge visual in which if your numbers of sales or revenue are actually meeting the targets, then you can set up some alerts based on the rule that you set it up, and you can have alerts set up to your own email address as well. Or if you want some other team member to be able to do that, you should be able to share that report and ask them to set up alerts for themselves too. So those are some of the options we have for getting information on the report changes and everything. Yeah, and with respect to somebody else's question too, I would like to add, in addition to being able to publish the report into PowerBI.com, we also have something called row-level security, which is one of the most important features of Power BI, which can actually enable your team members to be able to view data only as per their own accessibility. In fact, if they only are permitted to view United States information, then they can only have US data viewed. Or if they have access to a couple of countries and not everything, then they are able to do that as well. So executives can have a leverage of being able to look at only what they want to use and not necessarily everything. So it is very efficient that way for any executive dashboard to be created and can have only limited access to what they are interested in, but not to all other data points. So that is something that we definitely wanted to highlight as a part of this discussion.
Thank you, Swapna. Yeah. Okay, well, that I think concludes the webinar for now. Once again, thank you guys so much for joining in. This was super exciting to put together. I really hope that this brought some value to you, and if anything, answered some questions that you might have, or maybe raised some more that we can talk about later. So yeah, thank you so much from the Advaya team. We really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, everyone.
Thanks for coming.
Awesome.